If you're approaching retirement or already in it, one of the biggest financial questions you'll ever face is this: which account should I withdraw from first? Should you take money from your traditional IRA or 401k, your Roth accounts, or your after-tax brokerage accounts or savings accounts? Choosing the wrong withdrawal sequence can cost you tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands of dollars in unnecessary taxes, higher Medicare premiums, and tax bracket surprises. Today, we're diving deep into withdrawal strategies, tax impacts, Medicare, IRMAA, and how your investments affect everything. And we're going to do it using stories, real world examples, people just like you. Because when you retire, it's not just about what you make, it's about what you keep. Before we talk strategy, let's start with the basics. You have three main buckets in retirement. You have something called the tax-deferred accounts, your 401ks, IRAs, 403bs, and similar accounts. You got a tax deduction when you contribute the money, you grew your money tax-deferred, but now every dollar you take out or withdraw is taxed as ordinary income. And starting at age 73, you must take required minimum distributions, or RMDs. Think of these accounts as a tax time bomb. The government is waiting to be paid. The other bucket are Roth accounts. Your Roth IRA and your Roth 401k, you already paid the tax. The growth is tax-free, withdrawals are tax-free, and then Roth IRAs have no required minimum distributions. These are your golden goose accounts. And then we have the third bucket, which is the after-tax brokerage or savings accounts. Your individual or your joint brokerage accounts, trust accounts, and other non-qualified accounts. You pay taxes on the dividends, your interest, and capital gains. These accounts are flexible and often overlooked in planning. Why this matters? Each account is taxed differently, which means the order you withdraw from all these accounts can dramatically affect your taxes, your Medicare premiums, the taxes on your Social Security, which tax bracket you might fall into, how long your nest egg lasts, and how much your family receives someday when you're no longer here. Withdrawal strategy might be one of the most important decisions you make in retirement. So let's talk strategy. There are three major approaches. Each one works for different people. Strategy one is the spend after tax first bucket. This is the old school advice. Spend down your brokerage accounts first, then tap into your IRAs, then save the Roth accounts for last. Why? Because the Roth grows tax-free, so you want it to grow as long as possible. For example, John, he retires at age 65 with about $600,000 in a traditional IRA, $200,000 in a Roth IRA, and let's say $300,000 in a brokerage account. He decides to spend his brokerage account down first. And at first, his taxes are low, very low, and he loves it. But as the years go by, his IRA keeps growing and growing, and by the time he reaches age 73, his IRA is close to $1 million. Now he must take the large required minimum distributions, his taxable income shoots up, his Social Security becomes taxable now, and his Medicare surcharges climb up, and then he climbs into a higher tax bracket. John saved taxes early, but he pays for more later. This strategy only works if your IRA is small or your RMDs won't be an issue. And for most retirees, this strategy can backfire. Strategy two is the proportional withdrawal strategy. This approach says withdraw from all accounts in proportion to their size. If 50% of your money is in an IRA, 30% in a taxable account, and 20% in a Roth IRA, then every withdrawal follows that same ratio. This keeps your taxes steady, brackets more stable, and income is more predictable. It's simple, it's balanced, not optimal for everyone, but much better than spending taxable accounts first. Strategy three, tax bracket management, which I would consider the smartest strategy. This is the advanced strategy used by more retirement planners or the top retirement planners that are out there. You intentionally manage your withdrawals to control your tax bracket. The goal is to fill low tax brackets intentionally, avoid jumping into higher brackets, reduce your future required minimum distributions, limit your Social Security taxation, avoid Medicare surcharges, and minimize lifetime taxes paid. This strategy doesn't look at just this year's taxes, it looks at your entire lifetime tax picture. So let me tell you a tale of two retirees. Let me show you how powerful this is with two real world examples. Case study number one here is Mary. I'll pay the taxes later. Mary retired with $1 million in her traditional IRA, $200,000 in a Roth IRA, and $150,000 in taxable savings accounts. She spent her taxable account first, then tapped her IRA. Her IRA grew, and it kept growing all the way up to $1.5 million. And then at age 73, when she was required to take her distributions, those required minimum distributions were almost $60,000. That one decision triggered higher taxes, higher Social Security, or your Social Security becoming more taxable, Medicare surcharges, and lost tax planning opportunities. Mary avoided taxes early on, but ended up paying for far more later. Now let's look at the second story. I have Tom and Linda. They're going to use more of the tax smart strategy here. They have roughly $900,000 in their IRA. They're both 65. They have about $150,000 in their Roth IRA, $250,000 in brokerage, but they did things differently. During their 60s, while taxes were low, and before required minimum distribution started, they withdrew strategically from their IRA first, a little bit, filled the 12% tax bracket, completed annual Roth conversions, used Roth withdrawals when needed for extra income, and avoided IRMAA or Medicare surcharges by staying under the limits. By the time they reached their 70s, their IRA was cut nearly in half, their Roth had grown, their RMDs were small, and their taxes remained low. Their lifetime tax bill was dramatically lower than Mary's. This is the power of planning ahead. So how your investments might affect those taxes is the next part. It's not just which account you withdraw from, it's what's inside those accounts that can matter too. Now, tax-efficient investment vehicles belong in taxable accounts. Think index funds like ETFs, municipal bonds, long-term holdings. These produce low taxes. They're perfect for brokerage accounts. Tax-inefficient investments belong in IRAs or 401ks. For example, high turnover mutual funds, real estate investment trusts, bond funds with heavy interest, short-term capital gains. These produce taxable income every year, so they belong in the tax-deferred accounts. Now let's talk about high growth assets. These belong in the Roth accounts. Why? Because the growth is tax-free. This is the best place for your aggressive investments. Small cap stocks, emerging markets, innovation funds, long-term high growth ETFs. Your Roth should be the engine for long-term wealth creation and tax-free legacy planning. Now there are some hidden tax traps. Most retirees don't see these coming. First, the Medicare trap, or Medicare IRMAA surcharges. If your income goes above certain limits, you'll pay more Medicare Part B and Part D premiums. This includes IRA withdrawals, Roth conversions, capital gains, RMDs, even one-time withdrawals. And here's the kicker. IRMAA is based on income from 2 years ago. So a Roth conversion at 63 can increase your Medicare premiums at age 65. Now, let me give you a story about Bob. Bob did an $80,000 Roth conversion at 63. He thought he was being smart, but then at 65, he discovered his Medicare premiums increased by almost $1,000 a year. Not the end of the world, but it can be avoidable with better planning. Now, I don't want you to stop doing more tax-efficient strategies just to avoid. If you're just going to avoid tax-efficient strategies just to lower your Medicare surcharges, it might not be what's most beneficial. Now, trap number 2 is Social Security taxation. Up to 85% of your Social Security can become taxable. What causes that? It's something called your provisional income, which includes your adjustable gross income, half of your Social Security benefits, tax-exempt interest, and then we have to add in your IRA withdrawals, RMDs, Roth conversions, capital gains, any bond interest. All can trigger Social Security being taxable. And here's the scary part. You can be in the 12% tax bracket, but face a hidden effective tax rate as high as 40 to 46%, because every extra dollar of your IRA withdrawal causes more of your Social Security to become more taxable. This is why timing matters. This is why planning matters. Let's break down retirement into 3 phases. Your strategy should change as you move through each stage. Stage 1 is looking at your ages 60 to 70, your tax planning window. This is your golden window. Why? Because you have Social Security that may not have started. You have Medicare that hasn't started yet. You have required minimum distributions that haven't started. Your tax rate is also typically lower. This is the best time to do Roth conversions, reduce your future required minimum distributions, realize any capital gains when rates are low, fill up your lower tax brackets intentionally, build tax-free income for later. This decade is the most powerful decade for reducing lifetime taxes. Then we have stage 2, ages 70 to 73, which is what we call the transition years. Now things get interesting. Medicare has already started. Social Security is active. And RMDs, or required minimum distributions, are approaching. This is where strategic withdrawals can make or break your long-term taxes. Your focus becomes avoiding tax spikes, using Roth money to control your brackets, balancing out your RMDs and income needs, and avoiding IRMAA or Medicare surcharges whenever possible. Then we have stage 3, which is age 73 and beyond, or the required minimum distribution era. Once RMDs begin, your flexibility decreases. You must take taxable income. Taxes can spike if your IRA is large, and your strategy now shifts to more minimizing bracket creep, using qualified charitable distributions, coordinating with estate planning, supplementing income with Roth withdrawals. So which strategy fits you? Here's the simple summary. Spend after tax first if your IRA is small, your required minimum distributions won't be an issue, you want simplicity, and you're not worried about Medicare surcharges. Use proportional withdrawals if you want stable, predictable taxes, you prefer a balanced approach, and you want long-term diversification. And then use the tax bracket management style if your IRA is large, you want to reduce your lifetime taxes, you want to avoid potential Medicare surcharges, you want to control your Social Security taxation, you want to shrink your future required minimum distributions, and you want to maximize legacy planning. And for most retirees with more than $500,000 in tax-deferred accounts, this is the best long-term strategy that we usually see. Now, Roth conversions could be your secret weapon. Roth conversions allow you to pay taxes now, reduce your future taxes, shrink your required minimum distributions, increase tax-free income, and protect yourself from future tax hikes. But conversions can also trigger your Medicare surcharge premiums, your Social Security being taxable, higher tax brackets, and capital gain surprises. They must be done carefully, strategically, and intentionally. Now, let's end with a success story. Janet retired at 62. Her accounts, she had about $1 million in her IRA, a little bit in her Roth IRA, about $200,000, and $350,000 in her taxable account. And her strategy was to delay Social Security to 70, convert $40,000 a year to a Roth, stay under the IRMAA thresholds, use taxable accounts for spending, and then by age 73, her IRA would be half the size from the Roth conversions, her Roth had grown, and her required minimum distributions were small. Her taxes were low, and Medicare was affordable. She didn't guess, she didn't wing it. It was planned. Now, most people think withdrawal strategy is about picking which account feels right. But the truth is this. Withdrawal strategy is tax planning. Tax planning is retirement planning, and retirement planning is life planning. Because the order you withdraw money impacts your taxes, your Medicare premiums, Social Security taxation, portfolio longevity, and the legacy you leave behind. If you want the best retirement possible, you can't leave this to chance. If this has helped you, make sure to tap the subscribe button. Helps more retirees find videos like this. And if you want help creating your own personalized withdrawal strategy, one that minimizes taxes, avoids Medicare surprises, and gives you the best long-term outcome, please reach out. I have a link below in the description where you're able to set up a 15-minute strategy call with myself or someone from my team at no cost to you. Because every dollar you save in taxes is another dollar you get to enjoy in retirement. I want to say thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.